Hello guys, in this lecture we discuss the concept of electric field. Let us consider a point charge Q placed at a point O. If we place another point charge Q at a point P distant r from the charge capital Q, then charge Q capital Q exerts some force on charge small q as per Coulomb's law. That is, the force is along the line joining the two charges center to center. If both are like charges, then the force is outward. This is the force exerted by capital Q on small q. If the charge Q is removed, suppose the charge now Q is removed at the point P, then what is left with the surrounding? Is there nothing at the point P? Then how does a force act when we place a charge Q at the point P? In order to answer such question, the concept of field is introduced. We say that the charge Q, capital Q, produced an electric field everywhere surrounding it. So when a charge small q is placed at the point P, it experiences some force which is exerted by capital Q on small q. So what is electric field? An electric field is defined as a region in which there would be a force upon a charge small q brought into that region. An electric field is defined as a region in which there would be a force upon a charge brought into that region. So electric field has two characteristics. One is its strength or intensity, and another is the direction. So let us discuss electric field strength or intensity. The charge Q which is producing the electric field is called a source charge. Here capital Q is called a source charge, and the small charge q which tests the effect of a source charge is called the test charge. It tests the effect of the source charge. That means it experiences some force due to source charge. So the strength of the source charge q can be determined from the electric force exerted on the test charge. So electric field intensity, electric field strength or intensity at a point is defined as the force per unit positive test charge placed at that point. Mathematically, electric field E is equal to F by Q. Here Q is the test charge and F is the force experienced by it due to the source charge. Test charge does not disturb the charge capital Q at its location. It is very small, so that the ratio F by Q is finite. So we can write E as the limiting force to charge ratio, that is limit U tends to 0 F by Q. So we can define electric field intensity as the force to charge ratio in this limiting case. The magnitude of the force electric field intensity is mod E equal to mod of F by Q. That is, we simply write E equal to F by Q. The direction of the electric field at any point is the direction of the force on a positive test charge. Suppose this is your Q. Suppose Q is positive and the test charge is also positive. Then the direction of the force that gives the direction of the electric field. SI unit of electric field intensity is Newton per Coulomb. Newton per Coulomb. In symbol, that is Newton per Coulomb. The other unit of E is volt per meter. Volt per meter. Electric field intensity. Electric field intensity due to a point charge. Due to a point charge. We consider an isolated point charge Q placed at the origin of a coordinate system, and we have to find the electric field intensity at a point P. So this point is called field point, and O, where the source charge is placed. This Q is called source charge. So let us put a test charge Q at the point P. Then according to Coulomb's law, force exerted on small q due to source charge capital Q is F is equal to K capital Q into small q divided by r square into r cap. R cap is a unit vector along r vector. R is the position vector of test charge with respect to capital Q. Now electric field intensity at the point P is given by E equal to F by Q. So F by Q, that is equal to K capital Q by r square into r cap. So electric field is a vector. It is directed along the unit vector r cap. It is to be noted that E is independent of small q. E is independent of test charge Q. The magnitude E equal to K mod Q by r square. If Q is positive, source charge is positive, then E is directed away from the positive charge. Directed away from the positive charge. That is, suppose this is your positive source charge and this is the point P, then electric field is directed away from this positive charge. And if the source charge is negative, then electric field at the point P, that is directed towards the negative source charge. If Q is negative, E is directed towards the negative source charge. So now we find that E mod E means E that is proportional to mod q divided by r square. This implies E is proportional to mod q. Larger the magnitude of source charge, larger the electric field intensity, and E is inversely proportional to square of the distance between source charge and test charge. That is, the graphs, it looks like this. This is your E and this is your R, and as R tends to infinity, E is equal to 0. In vacuum, when the source charge is placed in vacuum, then electric field E can be written as 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q by r square into r cap, and in a medium E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 k q by r square into r cap, where k is the dielectric constant of the medium, dielectric constant of the medium. Let us discuss some numericals. Example 1. What is the magnitude of electric force on a doubly charged calcium ion placed in an electric field of 10 to the power 7 Newton per Coulomb. Solution. Calcium ion is doubly charged, means charge Q is equal to plus 2E, calcium plus 2 ion. So magnitude of force F is equal to QE. Q equal to 2E into capital E. So 2 into 1.6 into 10 to the minus 19 Coulomb into 10 to the power 7 Newton per Coulomb. So this is equal to 3.2 into 10 to the power minus 12 Newton. Example 2. Calculate the magnitude and direction of the electric field which would be needed to balance the weight of an oil drop of mass 0.2 nanogram and carrying a charge plus 10 E. Solution. When a point charge is placed in an electric field, force exerted on the charge is F equal to QE. Now here, electric field is applied in upward direction to the oil drop so that it balances the weight of the oil drop. Weight of the oil drop is mg and upward force, electric force is QE. So F equal to QE or E equal to F by Q. F is, that is mg, and Q, that is charge is 10 E. So put the value of m, g and E. M is given 0.2 nanogram, that is 0.2 in kg, means nano means 10 to the power minus 9, and 1 gram is 10 to the power minus 3 kg. So 10 to the power minus 9 minus 3, 10 to the power minus 12 kg. And g, the acceleration due to gravity, that is 9.8 meter per second square, and Q equal to 10 E. So this is 10 into E is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 Coulomb. So the result is 1.225 into 10 to the power 6 Newton per Coulomb. Next problem. Example 3. An electron falls through a distance of 1.5 centimeter in a uniform electric field of magnitude 2 into 10 to the 4 Newton per Coulomb. The direction of the field is reversed, keeping the magnitude unchanged, and a proton falls through the same distance. Compute the time of fall in each case, neglecting gravity. Contrast the situation with that of a free fall under gravity. So what is the solution? So in case of electron, force is electric force is upward and electron negative charge, so it falls downward. So force on the electron, that is F equal to EE, and this is equal to mass of the electron is ME and its acceleration is AE. So AE, acceleration of the electron, is equal to EE by ME, and we have to find the time. So we know that H equal to half AT square. So T square equal to 2H by A. So for electron TE equal to square root of 2H by AE. So TE equal to square root of 2H ME by E into E. So we know that E is 1.6 into 10 to the minus 19 Coulomb. ME, mass of electron, is 9.11 into 10 to the minus 31 kg, and electric field is given, that is 2 into 10 to the 4 Newton per Coulomb, and height is given, that is 1.5 into 10 to the minus 2 meter, that is 1.5 centimeter. When it is converted to, that is meter, 1.5 into 10 to the 2 meter. So substitute the value, we can get T equal to 2.9 into 10 to the minus 9 second. In case of proton, here field is changed, upper plate is positive and lower plate is negative. So proton falls downward. Similarly, we can calculate AP equal to EE by MP. MP is the mass of proton. Mass of proton is 1.67 into 10 to the minus 27 kg. So time of fall for the proton, that is TP equal to square root of 2H MP by E into E. 1.3 into 10 to the minus 7 second. 1.3 into 10 to the minus 7 second. So in case of electron, time taken is 2.9 into 10 to the minus 9 second, and proton 1.3 into 10 to the minus 7 second. So here TP is greater than TE. That means proton takes more times than electron, because proton is heavier than electron. So in this case, we neglect gravity. So let us calculate AP. AP is EE by MP. When you substitute the values, it is found to be 1.9 into 10 to the power 12 meter per second square. And acceleration due to gravity is 9.8 meter per second square. So if you compare these two, AP and G, then AP is much greater than G. Acceleration of proton is, that is 1.9 10 to the power 12 meter per second, which is very large in comparison to 9.8 meter per second square. That is why here we neglect acceleration due to gravity. Gravity has no effect, very less effect on the falling of proton. And here we note that AP, acceleration of proton, that depends upon the mass, but acceleration due to gravity, that is independent of the mass. This is the difference. Now we discuss principle of superposition for electric field. We have a system of n point charges, Q1, Q2, Q3 up to Qn. Let us find electric field at a point P due to these n point charges. To find electric field at this point, we place a test charge Q0 at the point P. Force on Q0 due to Q1 is F01, due to Q2 is F02 due to Q3 is F03 and similarly due to Qn that is F0n. The net force F0 from these n point charges acting on the test charge Q0 can be written as F0 is equal to vector sum of these forces F01 plus F02 up to n point charges, that is F0n. Therefore, net electric field at the point P can be found by the formula E equal to F0 by Q0. F0 is the net force at P on Q0 from n point charges. So F0 by Q0, that is E. So this is equal to F01 by Q0 plus F02 by Q0 plus up to n, that is F0n by Q0. F01 by Q0, that is the electric field due to Q1 at the point P. So this is E1. Similarly, E2 plus up to, that is En. So this is the vector sum of the individual electric fields. So it can be written as summation I Ei, where Ei is the electric field from Qi charge at P. So net electric field is the vector sum of the electric fields due to each charge. This is the principle of superposition. The net electric field is the vector sum of the electric fields due to each charge. So electric field obey principle of superposition, like in case of electrostatic forces. We consider a sample problem. Figure shows three particles with charges Q1 plus 2Q, Q2 minus 2Q and Q3 minus 4Q, each a distance d from the origin. What net electric field E is produced at the origin? While solving this problem, we choose the coordinate system x-axis and y-axis, and O is the origin. Then we place the charge Q1, Q2 and Q3. And here given that the angles 30 degree, the charge Q1 made with negative x-axis, charge Q3 made angle 30 degree with x-axis, and Q2 also made angle 30 degree with x-axis. So now, how can we find the electric field E at the origin? So net electric field at O can be found by the sum of three vectors E1 plus E2 plus E3. This is equal to E, net electric field at the point O. E1 is the electric field due to Q1, E2 is the electric field due to Q2, and E3 is due to Q3. Then we show the direction of E vector, E2 vector and E3 vector. E1 vector is directed away from charge Q1, that is along this direction. This is E1. And Q2 is negative charge. Its electric field is also towards Q2. Electric field of positive charge is directed away, along the line that is directed away, that is along this direction. And electric field of negative charge is towards it, that means also along this direction, same direction. So this is E2. Q3 is also negative charge and it is directed towards it, that is along this direction. This is your E3. So this angle is 30 degree with x-axis, and E1, E2 also makes angle 30 degree. Here E1 and E2 are not separated, they overlap each other, they are in same direction. As E1 and E2 are in the same direction, so the resultant is, this is the resultant, so this is E1 plus E2, this angle is 30 degree, and this is your E3. Then E1 plus E2 plus E3, that is, we have to calculate. So now let us find the magnitude. We know that electric field E is 1 by or K mod Q by R square. So first find E1. E1 equal to K, charge is, that is 2Q, charge is Q1, so mod of Q1 by D square. Here R is D, distance is D, so K 2Q by D square. Then E2 equal to K mod of Q2 by distance square, that is D square. So K, charge is minus 2Q, mod of minus 2Q is 2Q by D square. Since E1 and E2 are in same direction, we add E1 plus E2, that is equal to K 2Q by D square plus K 2Q by D square, that is 4KQ by D square. Let us calculate magnitude of E3, that is equal to K, charge is minus 4Q, and mod, we take mod, so K 4Q, these are capital Q, Q by D square. So here E1 plus E2 is equal to E3. E1 plus E2, that is equal to E3. So now resultant of E1 plus E2 plus E3, that is along this direction, along the x-axis. So now component of E3 along x plus component of E1 plus E2 along x, that is the resultant. So resultant E, that is equal to E3x, because E1 plus E2 is equal to E3, and this is equal to 2 E3 cos 30 degree. Again, I'll explain you. This is your E3. E3 has x component as well as y component. X component is along this direction, y component is along y direction. Similarly, E1 plus E2 has also x component and also y component. E1 plus E2, magnitude of E1 plus E2 is equal to magnitude of E3. So y components are equal and opposite, so they cancel each other. So only role is only the x component. X component are along same direction, y component cancel each other. So that is why we take this magnitude of E3 plus magnitude of E2 plus E3. But magnitude of E3 is equal to magnitude of E1 plus E2. That is why we take 2. E3 x means x component. X component means component of E3 is E3 cos 30 degree. E3 cos 30 degree. So this is 2 and E3 equal to K 4Q by D square, and cos 30, that is root 3 by 2, and this is equal to 2, value of K is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0, 4Q by D square, root 3 is 1.732 by 2, that is 0.866, and the value is 6.93 Q by 4 pi epsilon 0 D square. I am giving some problems, try yourself.